Okay, we're going to try that again. Heckendock here. I have been muted this whole time, and I have been going for like a good, I don't know, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Oof, sorry about that. So in between streams, we had 2 people follow the stream, which is absolutely fantastic. So we had RSM Racing as well as Chamusuki, both of which followed the channel in between streams. Thank you both so much for following the channel. And, you know, for anybody who's following the channel, that means that we're 6 followers away from being able to get that beautiful affiliate status. That means, you know, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the random hobo that you can find and pay off. Just get them to follow the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And we get us to our goal. So, the things that we can cover that I didn't talk, or that I talked about before, but we're going to cover again really fast. So I'm playing in the most recent nightly. This is 11-23, which will hopefully be a lot closer to what 50.10 development will be like. One of the biggest things that I'm super excited about is when you go to Hangar, you can select multiple mechs. You can right-click, assign to force, and then you assign them to whatever force you want, which is beautiful. It brings me a lot of joy and happiness. It makes it a lot easier at the beginning of the game, as well as when you're doing a lot of switching around between lances. Anyways, moving back to the briefing room, we have a mission that is open and available to us right now. It is a turning point mission, so we really need to, this is kind of a no-fail mission for us. And it is an irregular force assault. So, hostile infantry and local insurgents are being reinforced by frontline enemy units, creating a growing threat in the sector. If left unchecked, their combined strength will destabilize our operations and undermine our control of the region. Your mission is to engage. Oh, lost my spot. Your mission is to engage and destroy at least 50% of the combined enemy force, neutralizing their ability to continue resistance. Expect a mix of tactics. The insurgents will use terrain, ambushes, and guerrilla warfare, while the frontline units will provide structured firepower and coordination. Do not underestimate either force. Eliminate them with precision, break their ability to fight, and ensure the sector is pacified. The victor will control the battlefield at the end of the engagement, securing any remaining assets and preventing further insurgent activity. This is a mission of suppression and dominance. Strike hard, eliminate resistance, and leave no doubt who commands the region. So we've got some friendly aircraft, we got some friendly artillery, and the enemy really is not bringing very much. You know, just a reminder, this campaign is on ultra green difficulty because this is the essentially standard preset for beginner for MegaMek or for MekHQ. Our next campaign will be on the veteran settings. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, and we'll even increase the difficulty as we go. So don't worry, it will get harder as soon as 50.10 comes out, which is hopefully slated to be this week. Whew, so exciting. Any Hoosers, let's go ahead and take a look. So what I was mentioning before I realized that my microphone was off the whole time is that Able Lance has a lot of very powerful weapons on their mechs. However, when you are dealing with infantry, your standard weapons that are good against mechs are not good against infantry. Things that are good against infantry: machine guns, flamers, pulse lasers, things along those lines. Standard lasers, not so hot. SRMs, not very great. PPCs, terrible. That is what Able Lance is bringing to the table. And when you're dealing with a bunch of infantry, not ideal. And so in this case, we actually want to be bringing along a good mixture of close-in, you know, essentially infantry support weapons as well as anti-mech weapons. And this is where it would actually be really nice to utilize the entire combat team concept of MekHQ and be able to use, you know, a couple of tanks that can, or APCs that provide some of that infantry suppression, as well as the mechs to do kind of that anti-mech duty. I don't have that. So let's take a look at what we have in the hangar. So we've got So we've got a Shadowhawk hanging out, but doesn't really have anything to help us. Same thing with the Warhammer. Locust is stilts with a gun, not ideal, but it'll deal with infantry happily. The longbow is not going to help us. Hunchback is not really going to help us, and the Ostrak not really going to help us. So we're really actually going to be kind of leaning on some of those light mechs to help us out along the way. And all we're going against is a Crusader as well as some infantry. So in this case, it makes a lot more sense, for us to bring like some light mechs. So bring a Gladiator, bring, a Rifleman or a Whitworth. A Whitworth would be fine. So bring a Gladiator, bring a Whitworth, bring a Firestarter, and then bring like a Locust. And then let's see what happens. I think it'll be fine. Let's go ahead and swap a couple of things out. So let's get rid of the Archer, and let's get rid of the Rifleman. And then let's go to Hangar, and we will grab the Locust. And where's it at? Actually, Firestarter, remove, Hangar. Where did it go? Why am I not seeing the Firestarter? Oh, there it is. Firestarter and a Locust, and we'll assign both of those to Hammer Slammers. Able Company, Baker Lance. Assigned to Baker Lance. Good deal. And so the Firestarter, we will go ahead and unassign that particular person. Assign, none. And then, who do we have that's not assigned to a unit? So we'll go ahead and grab Chodaborsky, and we'll put him in probably the Firestarter. And then we'll grab Lepaznus and throw them into the Locust. So that'll give us the Firestarter, Gladiator, Whitworth, and the Locust that are going into this, which should be fine. I think that'll be a problem. Let's just make sure that we're not causing problems anywhere else. Nope. Okay, deploy, Baker Lance, confirm. Also, for anybody out there who started playing in any of the other nightlies and was frustrated at all by, the Are You Sure nags, they added a way to make the nags go away. And I really like that they did put this little notification down at the very bottom. If you accidentally disable this notice, it can be re-enabled in the MekHQ client options. Actually really useful. I'm going to keep them on because I do stupid things. But moving on. Let's go ahead and get ready to jump into our first battle of the day. We're going to have to wait a second for us to catch up with when this starts. 1, 2 days. And briefing room should be fine. Let's go ahead and start the game. Yes. Go. I just realized I forgot to activate or move over my MekHQ or my MegaMek settings. It'll be fine. It'll be one game. We'll be okay. So while we're waiting for MegaMek to load up for the first time, because it always does take a little while for it to load up the very first time when you're in game. For anybody who's either watching live or watching on YouTube, what is your experience level with MekHQ and MegaMek? Are you a very experienced person? You've been using these programs for months or years, or are you somebody who you're just getting acquainted with MegaMek and just getting acquainted with MekHQ, and you're joining us to kind of maybe learn a little bit more? Or are you somewhere in between? All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. So with that, we'll go ahead and do the things. It's a decent size map. Let's go ahead and keep everybody grouped pretty closely together. We'll stay on probably this half of the map so that we can utilize the terrain a little bit. Maybe give us a little bit of cover. Hope for the best. And then immediately I do something different, naturally. The one thing I want to do is I want to stay away from the swamps. I don't want to get bogged down just immediately. We'll keep the Firestarter and the Locust pretty close together so that they can provide a little bit of mutual support. And we handily win initiative, or at least our team does. So once again, like always, we'll start working on closing the distance. I don't know why you would bring a dump truck as fire support. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but these rebels do not seem to be the brightest bunch that you have ever met. So at the dump truck, we'll go ahead and give them the gift of some medium lasers, and let's see what happens. From the Gladiator, we have some options. We can shoot towards the infantry, but I don't really see the use in doing that. The fire engine is going to be a 12 to hit, which is less than ideal. However, the dump truck is a 9 to hit. I'll take that. We're not going to be able to do a whole lot with our Locust, probably. You know, it's a 10 to hit on the fire truck, sure. And then from the Firestarter, same kind of a deal. It's an 11 to hit. We'll give it a try. Energy is free. All right, so the enemy Warhammer firing at some of our air assets misses. Our Whitworth hits with a medium laser, killing the crew. First shot of the game. We kill the crew of the Brunel dump truck. We're off to a good start. Then the Gladiator firing at the Brunel dump truck misses. Our Locust firing at the fire engine misses. Everybody else misses on the ground. The Shy Lone hits the motorized platoon, killing a couple of people, and then killing some more people, and then kills a whole bunch more people, and eventually just kills the platoon. You know, why not? Crusader also fires and misses. So our Whitworth is at 1 heat. Enemy Warhammer is at 4 heat. Everybody else is at 0. And for their entire team, so team 2, and we're looking at all 3 of their groups here. So we have destroyed 1, crippled 1, crew killed. I'm going to count that as destroyed, honestly. So they're down 25%. We need to go another 25% in order to cause them to flee. Keep on moving like the good little kids that we are. We'll go ahead and really close the distance with our gladiator. Yeah, let's not go through a swamp. Oh no, we have to go through a swamp no matter what. Garbage. We'll do that, and that should help us out a little bit. And then with that, let's go ahead and move the fire starter first. Let's get the fire starter into those woods. Then the locust. I think maybe we just go ahead and see if we can't get the locust right there. I don't know what the fire engine thinks it's going to do. Is it going to give us a hug? I don't know. All right, so we can avoid or ignore the dump truck. We should not ignore the javelin, however. So LRMs are 11s, and we'll just have to go for it. From our gladiator, we can fire the PPC. It's a 9 to hit on the clown car. And otherwise it would be 11s for everything else. I don't think it's worth the heat this round. Our locust going into some infantry, a couple of machine guns, and a medium laser. Why, yes, please. 6s on all of them. For the clown car as well, from the fire starter, that's a 9. I'm down. And it's just out of range for the flamers and the machine guns. Let's see what happens. So Allied Crusader on the motorized platoon hits with an LRM 10 with 10 of 10 missiles, doubling the damage, doing 4 damage to the platoon, killing 4 men. Jump platoon against the locust. Interesting. There was a report error. Give me 1 second. Boop. Okay. Sorry about the delay there. So anyways, we shoot a machine gun and we do, or they shoot a machine gun at us and they do a little bit of damage to our right leg and our center torso. Whitworth, firing with the javelin, misses with both of its salvos. Our gladiator, firing on the fire engine, also misses with the PPC. Warhammer, firing on the Thunderbird, misses. Our locust, firing on the jump platoon, hits with a machine gun, doing 18 damage. That platoon goes down to 3 men, then immediately afterwards gets hit with another machine gun, killing the jump platoon. And to add insult to injury, they also got roasted by a medium laser, which is unfortunate for them. Then, afterwards, the motorized platoon firing at the locust misses. Javelin firing at the Whitworth also misses. Let's see if we can't step on something. So it's a 5 to hit. I'll take that risk. So we do manage to hit the fire engine. We hit on the right rear side. It is down to 0 armor. Exciting times ahead. Whitworth is at 1 heat. The enemy javelin is at 1 heat. Everybody else is at 0. And then all of our air support, for the most part, is flying off the map because they have too much velocity to carry. If you are not sure how air assets work in BattleTech, it's not super complicated, but it can take a short while to wrap your mind around it. So essentially, you've got velocity and acceleration. The acceleration is what propels you forward. The velocity is what is carrying you forward. So velocity carries you from one round to the next. Velocity carries you from one round to the next. Acceleration is what helps you go faster. You need acceleration to go up. You can gain acceleration or velocity in a way by going down, in a very loose sense of the word, or interpretation of the rules. Okay, and with that, let's go ahead and keep on moving forward with Whitworth. See what happens there. Clown car is doing weird clown car things. Can the fire starter jump over? That's the question. It can. It can jump over. I think that we need a barbecue. Well, actually. Or do we have the fire starter jump there and deal with the motorized platoon? I think that's the right move, because then the locust can go there and shoot and kick. Then the fire starter can hop its happy little way over here. Artillery falls. Nothing happens. So the javelin closed the distance a little bit and made it a lot easier for us. So with that, it's an 8 on the LRM-10s. It's a 7 on the medium lasers. Let's fire 2 medium lasers. We'll go ahead and do 3. We'll go a little high on heat, and then we'll move on with our life. So that'll put us at 2 heat on the Whitworth, and then from the Gladiator, we'll dump the medium lasers and the SRM into said clown car and hope for the best. Locust can do hopefully bad things to this little fire engine with all of its little guns. And lastly, the fire starter, it's going to get warm. So we're just going to do flamers and machine guns into the motorized platoon. And with that, the motorized platoon going into the fire starter misses. Whitworth firing at the javelin also misses, unfortunately. We got all that heat for nothing. Gladiator firing into the fire engine, or into a clown car. Hits with 1 medium laser, doing some motive system damage. Hits with misses with the LRM-6, unfortunately. Locust firing into the other fire engine. Hits on the left side. It's down to 3 armor. Machine gun hitting the left side once again, down to 1 armor. Medium laser hitting the left side, critting the engine, making it immobile, also hitting the fuel tank, causing the vehicle to go boom. We made fireworks. Warhammer hits the Riviere with a PPC in the aft, crossing the damage threshold, possibly putting it out of control. Firestarter into the motorized platoon with a flamer. Roasts a bunch of them, does 18 damage, and then roasts some more, and we have roasted platoon of infantry. They are no more. Riviere, hits the Warhammer in the right leg with an AC-20. Then AC-5 into the head, causing the pilot to black out. Another AC-5 into the left torso. LRM-10 lands, doing 5 damage to the left arm and 1 damage to the left torso. That is brutal. Finally, our Allied Crusader effectively does nothing because they're already dead. Warhammer automatically falls because the pilot is unconscious, falling onto its rear, doing 5 damage to the right arm and 2 damage to the left arm. And the pilot can't avoid damage if he is unconscious. So he takes 1 more point of damage, now being at 2. We can attempt to kick the clown car, and we squish it. We squish the clown car, unfortunately, for them, not us. For us, that was great. For us, that is fine. So we just destroyed 4 vehicles this turn. We did our objective. So we're gonna call that okay for right now. We're gonna call it good. Maybe. Oh man, but we control the field of battle, don't we? It is awful tempting to keep this going and destroy everything in hopes that we can salvage some things, because we're only at 30% salvage. I think we keep this going and we try to salvage some things. I think we do. Because the Warhammer is down now for the count. All we have to do is close the distance. The Javelin just needs to figure out that it's dead, and then everything else actually is dead. They're dead, Jim. Everybody is dead. All right, friendly artillery, do not hurt me, please. So we will go up and give the Javelin a hug. We'll see if the Gladiator can't help us out a little bit on the Javelin, but the Javelin's going to be pretty quick for us. And then finally, we really need to close the distance on that Warhammer as fast as possible. Otherwise, what's going to end up happening is that pilot's going to wake up because he only took 2 points of damage. He's going to wake up pretty quick, I think. And then after that, we're going to be dealing with a full-fledged Warhammer who just wants to do bad things to us. The dump truck takes damage because it's stationary and it doesn't have a crew. And then after that, the dump truck takes more damage. Good for him. I don't care about the dump truck. All right, let's go ahead and dump a couple of medium lasers. We'll stay warm. We can go 2 over on heat once again and put 3 medium lasers at a hit of 5 into the Javelin. Here's to hoping. PPC is a 9 to hit. I think we can take those odds. The Locust and the Firestarter really can't do a whole lot this turn, so we'll just skip them. That's fine. Whitworth into the Javelin. Sorry, Javelin into the Crusader misses. Whitworth into the Javelin hits with a medium laser in the left torso. Another medium in the left torso. That's down to 5 internal structure, misses with the last medium laser, and then the PPC from the Gladiator also misses, unfortunately. Crusader firing at the Javelin misses with all the things. All right, let's see if we can't kick a friend. It's a 4 to hit. Javelin kicks the Whitworth, doing 6 damage to the right leg. Whitworth also kicks the Javelin, doing 8 damage to the left leg. It's down to 0 armor. Whitworth stays standing. Javelin falls, doing 3 damage to the center torso. Oh, hey, look, another bot. Thanks, bot. All right, the Riviere flew off the map. It'll come back eventually. Artillery is still shooting at the dead vehicle, which I'm kind of okay with because now they're not shooting at me. We will start off with the Locust and see if we can't just sink some of this initiative. Warhammer pilot woke up, so we will have to wait and see if he doesn't just stand up on us. We're gonna have to stay moving a whole bunch with our Locust and our Firestarter, because otherwise, one hit from the PPC. Oh, the Warhammer fell and is immobile again. Okay, neato. One hit from a PPC from a Warhammer into a Locust means bad news bears for a Locust. You know, it only has like 44 armor to start off with, and when you take a PPC round, that takes away 1/4 of your armor. You're toast. It's bad. It is bad. Honestly, we'll skip the movement and see what happens. Javelin fell. Warhammer tried to stand up, or woke up, tried to stand up, fell again, fell onto the right side, doing damage to the right torso and the right leg, critting on the right leg with no effect, doing another hit against the pilot, causing him to black out yet again. Javelin tried to move backwards over an elevation change. He hit a 5, rolled a 2, and fell, doing 3 damage to his right leg. But the pilot himself did not take damage. Good for you, bud. Our artillery is still just torturing this poor little dump truck. This little dump truck that couldn't. Oh, that's annoying. We can't hit the javelin from where it's at. So we can't hit the Warhammer. We cannot hit the javelin. We're just like, we're stuck. Aha! But the fire starter can hit the javelin. And it's nice how medium lasers. We will go for it and hope for the best. Thunderbird firing at the Warhammer hits with a large laser into the left arm. Also hits with a medium laser into the right torso. And LRM-20 destroying the left torso, blowing off the left arm. Also doing damage to the left, center torso. LRM-20 then hits against the right torso, center torso, more center torso. Bad things are happening. Shylone also hits against the Warhammer with a large laser into the center torso, medium laser into the left torso, medium laser into the left arm. LRM-20 hits with it did not show how many missiles it hit with, but it hit with 12. Interesting. Very interesting. But it hit with 12 missiles. So 5 damage to the right torso, 5 damage to the center torso, and 2 damage to the head, doing 1 more point of damage to that pilot. Firestarter fires twice and misses. Give me 1 second. Okay. Moving on. And at the end of all of that, did anybody wake up? So the Warhammer, I think, is still down and out for the count. The Javelin did manage to get up and wander away. We'll just, close the distance and see if we can't shoot some things. All of the artillery misses, which I am super okay with. And then we can fire with some medium lasers on a 6. Into the Javelin. The Gladiator can hopefully hit with a PPC. That's on a 9. Won't worry too much about anything else at this time. And then from our Locust, won't worry about aiming very much right now. Yeah, we just won't worry about aiming. It's not worth it at this point. Whitworth firing a medium laser at the Javelin, hits the left leg, and then hits the left arm that goes all the way down to the center torso. It's down to 1 internal structure, critting on the engine, Misses with that last beam laser. PPC also misses. Locust firing at the Warhammer hits the center torso and the left leg with both machine guns. Misses with the medium laser. Firestarter hits with the medium laser into the left leg and with the medium laser into the right leg. Right leg is down to internal structure only. Let's kick a javelin. I hope. Whitworth kicks the javelin, hitting the left leg, destroying the left leg, transferring to the left torso, which then transfers to the center torso, which then destroys the center torso of that poor little javelin, destroying the javelin. So at this point in time, I'm going to ask what you guys would do. So everything is destroyed or neutralized except for the Warhammer that has an unconscious pilot with 4 hits. Normally, if I was playing on my own, I would say /victory, because what is the Warhammer going to do to me? Is it going to stop me from picking it up? No. I would essentially roleplay it as the dude is passed out at his cockpit. I'm going to open up his cockpit and rip him out. That's how I look at it. That's what I'm going to do right now. If anybody else disagrees with me, I want to hear about it. I want to know what you think. But in my game, that's how I would play it. So why don't we save a GIF? Sure, why not? We'll save a GIF. Or a GIF. Okay, there's all the things. Yes, we retain the field of battle. All right, so we are at 19%. If we salvage the Warhammer, haha! If we salvage the Warhammer, we're in a good place. Other than that, we can sell the Javelin. That'd be fine. Let's just do that. Okay, great. Finish. And that one is all done. Infirmary, nobody to help. And then we need to assign a tech to that brand spanking new Warhammer. That's what, 4 for us? I think we now have 4 Warhammers. When is it too many Warhammers? When is it a Warhammer too far? Really quick, like. Okay, it's only 3 Warhammers. 3 whole Warhammers. Cool. Great. Neato. All right, Baker Lance comes home. We'll go ahead and start repairing the things. Keep advancing. I think I lost my victory points when I moved versions. I think that's what happened. I'm not sure, because I know I was at more than 2. No, I was definitely at more than 1. Oh well. New scenario, pivotal engagement. They just want to keep us working for our money. Crisis. Oh no. All right, so as a reminder for a crisis scenario, it is -1 campaign victory point for a loss or a draw, and we get nothing if we win. However, a massive enemy force, massive being 1 Ostrock, has taken the field, and if they are allowed to gain momentum, they will become an unstoppable threat. Your mission is to blunt their advance by destroying at least 25% of their forces, or 100. Forcing them to slow their assault and reconsider their position with their 1 Ostrock. The enemy is relying on overwhelming numbers with their 1 Ostrock, expecting to steamroll our defenses, target high-value units like their 1 and only, disrupt their formation, and take them and make them bleed for every inch of ground. If they hesitate or falter, their offensive will collapse before they can reach full strength. The victor will control the field of battle at the end of the engagement. Cool. I am literally going to turn off artillery for this one. I'm just going to get rid of that bot. It just doesn't make sense to have them. So, pivotal engagement, deploy, able lance. Let's make sure able lance is in a good spot. It is. So then deploy, able lance, go Power Ranger, confirm. Yeah, it looks good to me. And so we're good for about 3 days. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it and just get rid of a single Ostrock. Seems like a good idea. So like I said, we are literally, we're going to do this. We are going to remove the artillery. We are going to remove the aircraft. Otherwise, there will be nothing for us to do. Why would we even bother showing up? The enemy could deal with it on their own. I mean, even as it is right now, I can randomly deploy all of my things across the entire field and just move them south. And then I'll be fine. It doesn't matter. So we'll skip the Stalker, we'll skip the Warhammer, Grasshopper is a 13 to hit, that's a no-go. And then for the Guillotine, that's also going to be a no-go, so we'll skip that one. Nobody fires, so nobody can miss. We lose initiative. We'll just gradually keep moving forward. So here's another question for anybody out there. So I was reading an article, actually 2 articles on Goonhammer. And when you are playing, do you use floating through armor criticals, or do you do rules as written with no floating through armor criticals? And why? Why do you do, or why do you do it with or without? Or if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you can probably pretty easily Google, through armor criticals BattleTech, and I'm sure you will find all sorts of fun stuff. 1 PPC and a medium laser, maybe another medium laser from the Warhammer. From the Grasshopper, we can go ahead and do all the medium lasers and a large laser. Actually, why don't we do a large laser, LRM, and some medium lasers and call it a day. Single large laser from the Guillotine. So from the Warhammer, firing at the Ostrock, everything misses. Grasshopper hits with a medium laser into the right leg, medium laser into the left torso, and I get the same error. Interesting. Huh. I think this is probably a new error. Well, I posted it on the Discord, and we'll see what the people say. But I'll go ahead and do a happy little screenshot. Go away. All right. Anyways, hits medium laser hits into the right arm. of the Ostrak, and then the guillotine misses. Ostrak firing into the grasshopper, hits with a large laser into the left torso, otherwise misses with everything else. All right, Ostrak is at 4 heat, everybody else is at 0. We tie for initiative, and then we win. Poor guy. Like, what are you supposed to do in this case? Like, the only real answer is just run away. That's the only answer. But because you're a computer, you have no choice. You have no autonomy. So we'll do all the medium lasers, the SRMs, and we'll call that good. And here we'll do medium laser, small laser, machine gun, SRM, medium laser, small laser, machine gun. And that's it. From the grasshopper, we can twist and do all of our medium lasers and a large laser and see what happens from there. And our guillotine can also join in this party. Ooh, hold on. Outer range. Okay. Ostrak firing at the Stalker hits with a medium laser into the left torso. Otherwise misses everything else. Stalker hits a medium laser into the center torso of the Ostrak. A medium laser into... Come on now. Into the right torso of the Ostrak, and then a medium laser misses. Medium laser into the center torso. SRM hits the right arm, and right torso, and center torso, and then SRM hits with 2 missiles into the left leg and the left torso. Warhammer then hits with a machine gun. Sorry, I'm taking a lot of screenshots so that I can put in an error report after the stream onto the GitHub, because I've not gotten this error before, and this is the brand new nightly. Anyways, we do more bad things to the poor little Ostrak. We did miss a lot, though, from our grasshopper. Ostrak took 20 damage, however, it stays standing. And then we can kick. And we can kick. And so we get kicked from the Ostrak into the left leg of the Warhammer. Stalker kicks the Ostrak in the left leg. And then finally, the Warhammer also kicks the Ostrak in the left leg. It is down to 1 internal structure. A Warhammer stays standing. The Ostrak also manages to stay standing. Ostrak is at 8 heat. Everybody else is at 0. All right, and so are you going to run away? Are you trying to run away, friend? Don't run away. No. Don't do that. Alrighty, and then we shoot an Ostrak some more. I know this is probably fairly boring right now because all we're doing is running around and shooting a single mech, but that's what the contract has told us to do. Don't worry. As soon as, like I've said before, as soon as 50.10 comes out, we make a new campaign. That campaign will be on veteran settings. Things will not be as easy. I am not good at this game, which means I struggle. I struggle on veteran settings. Things go bad really fast. And then you guys can laugh at my pain as I struggle. All right, and so the Ostrak firing at the Stalker hits with the large laser into the left torso, medium laser into the center torso, medium laser into the center torso. And then our Stalker hits the Ostrak in the right leg. Does more bad things to the Ostrak, destroys the left leg using some SRMs, misses with one SRM pack. Long story short, we are doing more and more and more bad things to this poor, poor little Ostrak. We also destroy the right arm. The Ostrak lost the leg, so he automatically falls. He takes some damage to his right arm, right torso, and his head. Pilot then blacks out. I'm going to call this good. I think that we have adequately incapacitated this poor little pilot. I will have my mechs continue attacking as if they don't realize he is blacked out, but we'll be done at the end of the turn. So we destroy the left arm. Left torso takes a lot of hits, and then the right leg also gets down to one internal structure. And that is that. We'll save a GIF. Don't worry about that. And then done. We control the field of battle. Suddenly I wish I wouldn't have taken that jacked up javelin. All right, well, no Ostrak for me. Well, we succeeded in our objective, which is nice. And then from there, we also have interception. Man, this is just kicking off in this last month. Look, so in the first month, we had 3 engagements. The second month, we had one engagement. Now, we're at a stalemate. However, we have just kicked off 3 engagements in a very short period of time in this last month as well, which is bonkers. That's crazy and madness. All right, well, interception defense. Enemy forces are on the move, heading toward an unknown objective. We cannot allow them to reach their destination. Their intent remains unclear, but their movement suggests a high-value mission. Your objective is to intercept and engage the enemy. Destroy at least 50% of their forces before they can escape via the opposite edge of the engagement zone. Expect the enemy to favor speed and mobility, avoiding prolonged engagements as they push toward their objective. Deny them escape routes. Break their formation and ensure they do not reach their goal intact. They may attempt to punch through with concentrated force or use diversionary tactics to slip past our defenses. Anticipate their maneuvers and shut them down. We will control the field of battle at the end of the engagement, securing any remaining assets, preventing any further movement from the enemy reinforcements. This mission is about disruption and dominance. Cripple the forces, seize the field, and ensure whatever they were planning never comes to pass. All right, well, once again, I'm just going to get rid of the artillery. I am tired of artillery blowing up my mechs. It's friendly artillery. Friendly artillery. One second. Okay, so they are bringing Crusader and a Locust and some vehicles. All right, cool. This, without any infantry, this is where slightly more mobility than our Able Lance, but not quite as light as what we have in Baker Lance, would be nice. So I think we get rid of the Locust and the Firestarter. And then we go ahead and go from there. So what do we do? So the Shadowhawk would actually be pretty decent here. Ostrock wouldn't be terrible. Grasshopper, of course, is fine. I don't know about you guys. I do not like the Blackjack. I'm not a fan. The AC2s just don't do enough. It's like you're throwing pellets at people, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But whatever. It's fine. What are we to do though? I think we swap out the Javelin for, so assign to force, clear. And then for the Firestarter, we do the same thing. We find wherever it may roam, assign to force, clear. And then why don't we take, we'll take a Shadowhawk and we will take a Grasshopper. So we'll put those in Baker Lance of Able Company. And whoops. We'll go ahead and jump over to our Mech Warriors. Let's see who we need to put into where. So assign. So we'll put you in the Grasshopper. We will put you. Actually, we'll put you into the Shadowhawk. So that gives us a Shadowhawk, Gladiator, Whitworth, and a Grasshopper, which should be fine. So Baker Lance, we can deploy to Interception Defense. Confirm. Baker Lance. Go. Yes. Do the thing. All right. And with that being all said and done, briefing room, I mean, that'll get us to our victory points, fortunately. So we'll advance up to the starting point. And let's go ahead and jump on in. So we'll go ahead and make things just a tiny bit more challenging. Just tiny. Small. Very, very small. We'll remove the artillery. We'll remove the aircraft. We still out BB them by a lot. But, I guess it adds some intrigue. All right, and with that, we lost initiative. It's a nice long map, and they are coming in from the south. So they are coming in from the south. We will go ahead and kind of put up some staggering defenses in order to meet them. So they drop some stuff there with an SRM carrier. It would be nice to have something that has some range on it. So something like a Whitworth. Oh, yeah, that would be great. So we'll go ahead and put the Whitworth in. We'll drop that down low. And then beyond that, they have brought more stuff in right there. That looks like the Locust. And they're dropping some friends in behind us. So they're providing that kind of stagger defense for us. I do want to go ahead and drop all the way back here, though, because that will give me the opportunity to, to jump up top without having to wander through any swamps. As much fun as that sounds. And then the Gladiator can also hop down low and then can always move laterally by jumping. We, as a team, have won initiative, which is great. I really don't want to go through swamps, if you haven't noticed. I don't like them. They're not my friend. They don't make me happy. So knowing that the heavy hover APC, knowing that only carries machine guns, I'm not worried about, a mech coming over into this area or that region. That's unfortunate. Well, from the Shadowhawk, oof, it's a 10, an 8, a 9, and a 10 against that little Locust. That is very unfortunate, but let's see what happens. Remember, friends, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Oh, that poor SRM carrier. So it's right in that beautiful short range little bar. I think we just have to. We have to send it presents. We'll only fire the LRM so we don't go hot right now, but you better believe that I am willing to get hot later. Unfortunately, our Gladiator can't do a ton to help us, but it can. It's a 12 against the Crusader and a 12 against the SRM carrier. We'll go ahead and send some love towards the Crusader just for funsies so that it can feel like it's included in the mix. And then last but not least, this Grasshopper will hopefully just lay down the hurt on the APC. That way, we just don't have to worry about it. Whoops. So we'll dump all the lasers into the APC. Hopefully we hit with something. So Locust hits the Shadowhawk with a medium laser in the center torso. Shadowhawk misses, hits the LRM-5 with 3 missiles. So the working theory right now is that this error message is for some reason it's not populating glancing blow, which is just annoying, but is what it is. So anything that you're seeing this error message for, I think is a glancing blow. So 3 damage to the left torso, also misses with everything else. SRM carrier fires, hits with one of the SRM-6s into the Whitworth with 4 missiles, doing 2 damage to the right arm, 2 damage to the left torso, 2 damage to the left torso, and another 2 damage to the left torso. Missing with everything else. These things are freaking scary. SRM carriers scare me. When they get close and they're like up in your face, bad things happen to good people. The Whitworth firing the SRM carrier, LRM-10 hits with 6 missiles, doing 5 damage to the left side and 1 damage to the left side, critting on the fuel tank. Thank goodness. Destroying the SRM carrier in a fuel explosion. If that wouldn't have done it, then the engine would have been destroyed at least. Finally, oh, that's not good. Finally, the Pegasus fires at the Shadowhawk. SRM-6 hits with 3 missiles, doing 2 damage to the right arm. Would have critted on the right torso, but instead does 2 damage to the right leg and 2 damage to the center torso because of Edge. Thank you, Edge. Gladiator firing a PPC, misses. Crusader firing some LRM-15s, hits with 6 missiles, doing 5 damage to the right torso and 1 damage to the left torso of the Shadowhawk. And our Grasshopper misses with everything. Everything. We miss with everything. It's fine. I'm not bitter. All right, so we'll move on. We lost initiative, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and close the distance to the Gladiator. We'll just back up with the Whitworth for right now. Hope for the best. Give me 1 second, sorry. All right, well, moving on, we'll go ahead and bring the Shadowhawk a little closer to the Crusader. I would like to avoid being right in front of the Crusader because then it can be out of the line of fire of its SRM-6s. So we do this. Well, isn't that nice? So we'll see if we can't follow the locust just a little bit here. We're gonna dump on this Crusader a little. It's 6s, 8s, and an 11 to hit on the Crusader. For the Whitworth, LRM is 8s. We'll go for that. And now is the time to go ahead and get a little warm. Same thing with this. We can throw a PPCI for a 9. We can go 2 over on heat with an 11. And then beyond that, we will... I think we need to shoot the heavy hover APC because the locust is fairly likely to get bogged down at some point in all of these swamps. But the heavy hover APC can just float over everything, which is fine. But I think that we need to shoot at him. Let's see what happens. Shadowhawk firing at the Crusader, hits with the medium laser into the right torso, misses with everything else, unfortunately. The champion, helping us out, shoots at the Pegasus, hits the turret, and then hits with an SRM-6, destroying the Pegasus because it made it immobile over the water, causing it to drown. What a guy. Our Whitworth firing at the Crusader misses with everything. Locust firing at the champion misses. Assault firing at the Pegasus doesn't matter. Gladiator firing at the Crusader also misses with everything. Pegasus firing at the champion hits with the medium laser, hits with 5 of the 6 SRMs before it goes down. Bombardier firing at the Pegasus doesn't matter. Grasshopper firing at the heavy hover tank hits with a medium laser into the right side, doing 5 points of damage, but not really doing a whole lot else. Crusader firing into the Gladiator hits with an LRM-15 with 9 of the 15 missiles, doing 5 damage to center torso, 4 damage to left torso. Other LRM-15 also hits with 6 missiles, doing 5 damage to left arm and 1 damage to the right leg. We are not having a very good showing here today, friends. Not even a little bit. Not even at all. And so with that, we tied initiative, and then we won initiative, which is exciting. The heavy hover APC is unfortunately running away from us. So we just have to give the Crusader a hug. That's where we're at. And then we can try to run up and also help the Locust figure out how to not run away from us. So 4 on the medium laser, 7 on the AC5, LRM-10 is LRM-5 is a 10, and SRM is a 4. We'll give it all a whirl. Let's see what happens. Locust, that is a 9 and a 9 and a 9. We'll take that. For our Gladiator, doing medium lasers, 6, 6, and a 6 on the SRM. Why, yes. Yes, we can do that to a Crusader. Finally, our Grasshopper firing into that little Locust is 7s across the board, which will be just fine. Oh, I always love it when I see red on the enemy right as we go into the report. All right, so the heavy hover APC hits the champion in the center torso of the machine gun. Our Shadowhawk firing at the Crusader hits the left leg with a medium laser. AC5 also hits the left leg. We miss with the LRM and the SRM. Ossaul firing at the Locust misses. Locust firing at the Bombardier hits the right arm with a medium laser. Whitworth firing at the Locust. It hits the left arm. The champion misses the Locust a whole bunch. Our Gladiator firing at the Crusader hits the right torso with a medium laser. Then misses with the medium laser and the SRM. Crusader hits the Shadowhawk in the right torso with a medium laser, right leg with a medium laser. Machine gun hits the right leg, misses with the other machine gun. Ossaul firing at the Locust, misses with everything. Our Grasshopper firing at that little Locust hits with a medium laser, doing 2 damage to the left torso rear. Medium laser hits the left leg. Large laser hits the center torso, critting on the gyro, which I'm okay with. And then LRM 20 hits with 6 of the 20 missiles from the Bombardier, doing 5 damage to the center torso and 1 damage to the right torso. Locust has to make a piloting roll, needs to roll a 9, rolls a 6, falls on its right side, doing 2 damage, takes 2 damage to the right leg. Oh. Oof. Needs a 3 to stay conscious, rolls a 2. That's rough. That's rough, bud. That is very rough. So let's go ahead and kick a champion. Oh, sorry. Crusader, not champion. So the Crusader kicked the Gladiator, doing 13 damage to the right leg. Shadowhawk kicked the Crusader, doing 11 damage to the left leg. Then the Gladiator kicked the Crusader, doing 11 damage to the right leg. Gladiator stays standing. Crusader falls on his left side, doing 5 damage to the left torso, critting with no effect and 2 damage to the center torso. But the pilot does not take any damage. So let's move the Whitworth first. And it would be a lot better overall for us to not jump, because our to hit modifier is already going to suck if we jump, and trying to hit a heavy hover APC with all those modifiers is going to be less than ideal. The Grasshopper, however, needs to go and kick a Locust, just for good measure. The Shadowhawk can come over and very politely say hello to the Crusader. And then finally, the Gladiator can also very, very politely come over and help the Crusader out. So the Locust pilot did manage to wake up, tried to free itself of the terrain, and failed. Heavy hover ABC keeps on rolling. Crusader did get up. So we'll go ahead and shoot at the Crusader, with some things from the Shadowhawk. That's interesting. Hold on. Wait a second. I have a question. Oh, interesting. The Locust tried to free itself of the terrain. It still tried, even though the pilot was unconscious. That's funny. That is funny. All right. Anyways, Whitworth needs to shoot at things. So 10s, whatever, it's fine. Just shoot that direction and hope for the best. The Gladiator needs to provide some medium lasers and the SRM-6 for munchies for that Crusader. And then, Oh, this poor little Locust. It's a 3 to hit on the medium laser aim shot into the head. 4 medium lasers should be enough to take out the head. Heavy Hover APC misses. Shadowhawk into the Crusader, hits with a medium laser into the right torso. AC5 into the right arm. LRM misses. And SRM2 hits with 1 missile, doing 2 damage to the center torso. Assault into the Locust. Unfortunately, hits the... hits the center torso. And then hits the left leg. Whitworth, firing at the Heavy Hover APC, misses. Champion into the Locust, hits the left torso. Hits the left leg, destroying the left leg, destroying the center torso. You jerks. It doesn't matter at that point. The Locust is gone. The Crusader then, from the Gladiator, takes a medium laser to the left leg, critting on the SRM6. SRM6 hits with 4 of the 6 missiles, doing 2 damage to the right torso, 2 damage to the right torso, 2 more damage to the right torso, and 2 damage to the left arm. Assault into the Locust. Doesn't matter. It's already done. Grasshopper also does very bad things to that poor little Locust. Bombardier into the Locust also does horrendous things. The Crusader does manage to stay standing, though. Good for you, bud. I'm proud of you. I would like to help you out by giving you a kick of support. And so the Shadowhawk destroys the left leg of the Crusader. The Assault was nice enough to kick the Heavy Hover APC, destroying the right side, thereby destroying the Heavy Hover APC. The roll for the foot platoon was not a great one, and so because of that, they were also destroyed. Whoops. The Gladiator kicks the Crusader, doing 11 damage to the right leg. Assault missed a kick. Assault falls, takes some damage. Okay, all right. I think we did all the things because we need to do what, 50%? Right, 50%, 50, yeah, 50%. And we have gotten there. We are definitely there. /victory. What a wonderful phrase. What an absolutely wonderful phrase. Okay, we will save the GIF. Not worried about the salvage. And then let's see what we can do. And hopefully, maybe we can get through to the end of this contract without any more scenarios. That would be kind of nice. Yes, we control the battlefield. All right, so they have 32%, or we have 32% salvage. We can do a max of 50. We can get the Crusader. That would be fine. We can also get the Pegasus, which would also be fine. The foot platoon died. So I'm going to say they escaped because I don't... They died. They kind of burned alive in a Heavy Hover APC, which is unfortunate for them. Yeah, I think we'll go with this. So we'll get the Pegasus, Heavy Hover Scout, and then the Crusader. That will be fine as well. We did all of that. Finish. Let's find all of our mech techs. Assign one to our brand spanking new mech. And then let's do some mass repairs here. Here's to hoping we repair the motive system. You know, at least in this version, you know, I don't know for sure, but in previous versions, when the motive system was damaged, it didn't matter if you repaired it, it would stay damaged. And so you had to go in and GM mode it so that you would restore the motive system. It was kind of annoying. Oh no. Oh, right. Because we also have a vehicle that needs a mechanic. So mechanic. Whoop, nope, cancel. No, don't give a payment. All right. Assigned a unit. Tech, tank, light, Pegasus. Go. Let's go ahead and advance the day. We fixed the motive system, which is exciting. We're still waiting on the Crusader to fix the left leg. And great. We can fix all of the other things, and our lance came back. We just have to get like 8 more days into this stupid contract, and then we can finally be out of it, which will be great. Because we have well and truly met our objectives, because we're at 3 out of 3 victory points. We have met all of our other objectives. We're in a good spot. We are in a good spot. So let's repair all the things. Of course, the Crusader will take a little bit longer. Somebody failed to replace the SRM6 on the Crusader, but at least they didn't destroy it, which is a good thing. All right, everybody is fully repaired. Contract goes through the 27th. Oops. Nope, don't do that. 26, 27. There we go. Hit the end of the contract. Oofta. So then, if you didn't know this, when you hit Advanced A, it should come up with a nag. Right? It should have come up with a nag that said, hey, you're at the end of your contract. You know, part of this might be that I swapped versions during this contract. Oh no. Oh dear. Friends, look at the year when you take a contract. We are in the year 2957. This contract ends in 2958. We have one more year on this miserable planet. Oh goodness. Oh dear. So there's that. So let's just take a look at some of our things and stuff. Not a whole lot to look at there. Man, I am excited about playing in the clan invasion, honestly. All right, employee turnover check time. Nobody wants to leave. This is good. We have a decisive victory. The enemy force is wavering because they rolled a 12 plus 2. So overall, their reliability is +0. The enemy is losing ground, sustaining significant casualties, and is disorganized. However, they can still put up resistance in isolated areas. Well, that's nice. Let's look at the market here. We're going to need some ground crews, honestly. We will, because we just got a scout transport that we'll need to crew at some point in time. So let's go ahead and grab this person, as much as I don't want to. And then I'm a big fan of picking up mech techs pretty much whenever you can. And we need another doctor. Even if they're green, we can train them. And then we just need to remember to not forget to assign ranks to folks like I apparently did before. Boop. Change rank, recruit. All right, and there's a mech tech in there that we can change the rank on. All right, everybody else looks fine. Let's look at what we have available to us this month. A lot of lights, lots and lots of lights. The Panther isn't bad. It's just kind of slow, all things considered. Cicada would be okay-ish, okay adjacent. All right, well, nothing's terribly exciting there. The Victor isn't bad. You know, I always love an AC-20. You gotta love an AC-20. You have to. I didn't realize the Victor was a 464 mech. Having an assault mech that jumps and has an AC-20 is never anything to sneeze at. And I have the money. Let's do it. Why not? Okay, well, that's nice. Now we have a Victor, which is great. And so with that, with purchasing a Victor, I think I'm gonna make it an early night, folks. I did not get a lot of sleep last night because a small human decided that they wanted to wake up extra early, which was very nice of them. But we'll go ahead and call it here. The next time that I stream will be on Wednesday, so I'll stream on Wednesday evening. If 50.10 is out at that point in time, we will be starting our new campaign. So we'll go ahead and essentially mothball this campaign, and we will move directly into a new campaign with much harder settings. But if 50.10 is not released on Wednesday, then we'll keep on going with this one. We have 1 year left on Shimasawa, the planet of Shimasawa, doing garrison duty. It's going to be a long year, I feel, but it is what it is. Anyways, I hope that everybody has a great night. I hope that everybody's Thanksgiving week is off to a great start. And until next time, we will see you on Wednesday. If you haven't already and you're watching here on Twitch, I would really appreciate if you would give the stream a follow or the channel a follow. If you're watching later on YouTube, please go ahead and give the channel a subscribe. It helps other people find the channel, and also give the video a like if you have been enjoying this content. I know that this one was not very exciting, but hopefully next time it'll be a little bit more exciting. Until then, we'll see you later. Take care.